Hey, good Tuesday morning. Tuesday morning, get out and enjoy the sun. Well, it's not out yet, but it will be. It will be. And make sure you get out and enjoy the vitamin D. Today, I want to remind everybody that you know we live in a society where people struggle. I see it on social media. I see it when I go to my office, and I'll get private messages of folks asking for help because they don't have enough money to buy certain food items. Christmas time, we had parents, single fathers, single mothers reaching out, needing help with Christmas. And sometimes the needs the needs are overwhelming. They really are. And I remember growing up poor, and it was difficult. When I went to school, I didn't have the best shoes, and a lot of the classmates of mine used to pick on me because I wore Murphy Bombers. They were cheap because that was all that we could afford. And, it was embarrassing at times as well when I would go to lunch at school. I mean, it was a good meal, but I got free lunch because we were poor. And it was embarrassing as a kid when your classmates, when they had parents that had really good jobs and were able to make some good money with what job they had. But when you're growing up in a time when your dad's deceased and your mom is working odd job to odd job trying to bring in money, it made life very difficult. And I used to get judged a lot. And I want to share with you a story today because I think this story is important. And this was sent to me 4 years ago from a friend that works in radio. And hope you enjoy it. We were standing in line together, so I couldn't help but notice. Her clothes were worn, but they were clean. Her shoes were old and holey. She smelled like pancakes and looked extremely tired. The mama juggled a crying newborn in her arms while a toddler in the buggy screamed and wailed. And that toddler knocked over a carton of eggs. They landed on the floor, they exploded, and they splattered a bit on me and a lot on the lady behind this flustered mama. The lady stood irate and befuddled as she brushed egg remnants from her church vacation Bible school t-shirt and her designer handbag. They called for cleanup on aisle 4, and I offered to hold the smallest wailing baby. The church lady just stood there huffing and puffing. "These are designer jeans, you know." The flustered mama apologized sincerely. Rather than accepting the apology gracefully, this churchwoman continued with an insulting slur toward that toddler. This mama never retaliated. Instead, she lovingly placed a child on her hip, and she rocked and kissed that child, trying to quiet the tears, hers and the toddler's. I watched her bounce the racially mixed beauty, a perfect blend of white, black, and Jesus. Too bad the church lady couldn't see it. Maybe bitterness and anger can blind a person. The mama placed the Spam and canned spinach and cigarettes on the counter and retrieved her food stamps from her plastic tattered purse. The angry loud voice continued with sarcasm. "Well, I didn't know WIC paid for cigarettes these days. Aren't you lucky?" Well, the mama just looked at her and said, "Ma'am, the cigarettes I'm paying with my change." But anger splattered on me like the broken eggs on the floor. How easy to judge with a buggy full of wine and the finest cuts of meat. My hand shook, my stomach churned, my heart broke. My instinct was to defend, but the mama caught me with her eyes. She simply shook her head. She and I walked out together, unloaded the few groceries into an old, beat-up car with duct tape windows and missing hubcaps. Her car wouldn't start, of course. But that church lady, she sped past us lightning quick in her nice new car, but slow enough to showcase her bumper sticker that said, "I love Jesus." I hope Mama didn't see it, but she did. And she stood still, as if paralyzed, watching the I Love Jesus disappear into the rainy, dreary horizon. She asked me, "Is that what Jesus looks like?" As I drove them home, I noticed my own jeans. They were designer too. I owned some fancy purses. Heaviness flooded my heart like the pelting rain coming down. I've been guilty of judging and hating in the past, begrudging medical care to those unable to pay, feeling angry at those asking for help yet don't work but own a cell phone. I probably even stared too long at an interracial child. On the back of my own car, a dirty window reads, "My mom loves Jesus," and Bob Dylan. God help me. God help us. What kind of a witness have I been? I wonder, too, what does Jesus look like? I glanced at this beautiful family in my rearview mirror, a single mom working 2 jobs. She just needed a little extra help. There was such an overwhelming feeling to apologize and explain, but no words came, not from me anyway. But love sent us a song on the radio, and we listened together, a perfect song, just for us in that very moment. The words were, "Nobody knows what we're for, only what we're against. When we judge the wounded, what if we put down our signs, crossed over the lines, and loved like you did? Open our eyes to the world at the end of our pointing fingers. Let our hearts be led by mercy. Help us to reach with open hearts and open doors. Break our hearts for what breaks yours." She laid her head in her lap, and she cried with the rain. We were almost home when she humbly asked if I could stop at her friend's house. He was dying of cancer. There's one thing that helps take his mind off of the pain. We stopped. She grabbed the cigarettes. I grabbed my heart. They were a gift for him, a sacrifice for her. Sometimes you just never know. We sat on her porch with the gift of hospitality. She offered all that she had, Spam and saltine crackers on a plastic plate. I hadn't eaten meat in years. It was the most delicious meal I've had in a very, very long time. I felt humbled and grateful. I looked at her precious hands and generous spirit and thought of the poor woman's gift from the book of Mark. The rich only gave a little, but the poor widow gave everything that she had. She joyfully gave it all. The beautiful story replayed itself on that porch in the middle of a trailer park after a rainstorm. Darkness was turning to light, and just in time for the once blinded to gaze upon the glory of the Mama. Slow to anger, merciful to the merciless, love to the broken, cigarettes for the dying, Spam for the hungry. Her heart and her life was a gift to me. It was a gift worth re-giving. And I'll forever remember the day I finally saw what Jesus looked like. Folks, when you have an opportunity today, look around in your community. Don't judge. Don't hate. Love one another. Follow the teachings of Jesus. And I guarantee you, you'll see Jesus in everyone that you meet, not only today or this week, but for the rest of your life. This is Pastor Bill from St. Luke's United Methodist Church, Harrisville, West Virginia, Ritchie County, West Virginia. Wherever you are, I hope you're happy, I hope you're healthy, and I hope you're safe. Have a great day, and God bless.